Hello, and welcome to Unreal Crime Stories, where we tell crime stories so sinister that criminals who watch this turn themselves in. Today we are going to start with a story that is a dangerous tale of the extremes people will go to just for fame. And another story that shows no matter how stealthy you are, you will always get caught, especially if you're on TV. Our first story is all about ego, and how someone can try and gain attention for all the wrong reasons. Rather than yodeling in the middle of Walmart to get attention, Jennifer decided to do some murders, which is a pretty horrid thing to do. Anyway, let's start this story from the beginning. Jennifer was like any other young adult woman, until she wasn't. This is because she committed murders. She used to spend her nights watching true crime documentaries and drinking White Claws. She could also quote too much from The Office. But her main obsession was crime documentaries. She might have watched this if she wasn't in prison, or existed. Her parents were starting to worry about her obsession with crime documentaries, and also how much she quoted The Office. Jennifer wanted her own true crime documentary, but not a shit one like on basic cable. She wanted a premium streaming service documentary. She started to think of ways to get one. She soon came to the conclusion that she is going to have to do a murder. Jennifer was studying film and cinema at college and planned out how she was going to film everything so it can be used in the documentary that will be made about her. But there was one thing that Jennifer forgot to take into consideration when filming her horrific deeds, and that was that she was failing film class, and for good reason. All the footage she captured made Cloverfield look like a Wes Anderson film, but like most murderers, she was delusional and actually thought what she had filmed looked good. She actually only managed to kill one person, because you tend to get caught when you film yourself committing a crime. She also left the tape at the crime scene with a note attached that said, "Please give this to Netflix for a documentary." The footage was of course turned in for investigation, and the detective concluded that when they make a crime documentary about this, they will definitely have to reenact everything because the footage was absolute dogshit. Jennifer went to court and was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and a crime documentary was never made about her since she only killed one person. It would be a really short documentary. Jennifer also ended up getting an F in film school, since most of her footage was taken away as evidence, and the remaining footage had awful angles and wasn't worth a passing grade. I once got obsessed with food reviews and started making my own, which really spiked my cholesterol up. Those two stories aren't exactly on the same level, but carry the same messages. Anyway, time for a quick ad break.
Ragu introduces Chicken Tonight Simmer Sauces, and suddenly everybody's saying,
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight, chicken tonight.
Choose from 6 new sauces. Each one's made with real vegetables and herbs, so you can make dishes like country French chicken and chicken cacciatore. Just brown the chicken, simmer, and serve.
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight,
New Chicken Tonight Simmer Sauces from Ragu.
chicken tonight.
If we learn anything from that last story, it's that you probably aren't as good as you think you are at that thing you do. But it's okay, because there are plenty of people who are even worse. This next story also talks about the dangers of being stupid and on TV. It's called The Antiques Roadshow Thief. Rod was a thief, and not a very good one. Most criminals steal desirable and valuable possessions, but not Rod. Rod broke into people's attics hoping to find valuable antiques, but he always ended up stealing old shit that nobody wanted. He kept getting away with these burglaries because the victims never reported the crimes, since they didn't care about the missing items, and were often thankful that they didn't have to get rid of the items themselves. Rod started selling all the stolen items on Craigslist. This meant that everybody knew he was the man stealing all the items. But like I said, nobody actually gave a shit. He eventually managed to trick an old lady in Fulham into buying some old broken cupboards. But when dropping off the cupboards at her house, he noticed she was watching the Antiques Roadshow on her TV, and was surprised at the value of some of the items on the show. That's when he thought up the idea of stealing those items and selling them himself. He started planning his daring heists. It was mostly just watching reruns of Antiques Roadshow on demand. He needed to have something of value to get on the show, so he started committing more thefts, all of which were just as pointless as his previous efforts. He took his items to a pawn shop to get them valued, and he ended up casually telling the owner his plans. But he didn't really care, wished him luck, and told him a faucet he stole was his most valuable item. Rod made it onto the show with his faucet. When he had it out on set, everyone laughed at him because the faucet was still in its packaging. Someone even shouted, "Hey, that's my faucet that went missing last week." He waited around suspiciously to steal the items with the best valuation. However, whenever he tried to steal them, he got caught by cameras because he is on a TV show. He tried it a few times but got caught every time. He was later escorted off the premises by security and they took his details. He was also forced to give back the faucet to the rightful owner. When it came to his sentencing, Rod was only put on house arrest because the judge took pity on him for being so stupid. He knew he could never steal anything important. Rod could never steal again, since everywhere he went, everyone laughed at him, and his face was in every news outlet, and every headline called him a twat. He managed to get less of a punishment than the Homes Under the Hammer cock and balls vandal. Anyway, I'm afraid that's all we have time for this week, but maybe there's a crime happening right now to talk about. But until next time, go home. It's getting late.
Bye! Have a beautiful time!